Hello, my name is Sabrina Peach, and this is my needs assessment. So we have the agenda where we're going to discuss the purpose of the needs assessment, data collection process, key findings and results, recommendations, dissemination, and reflection. The purpose of the needs assessment is to identify and determine the cause of substance use in teen population in Phoenix, Arizona, and what resources are currently available, as well as potential gaps in services that affect treatment. The issue is to understand the cause of substance use in teens and the need for appropriate interventions to stop the cycle of addiction. The data collection process. Data was collected via Zoom with 3 community mental health agency program managers in Phoenix, Arizona. The first agency was Touchstone Health Services, where I interviewed program manager Amy Spriggs, who's been with the agency for 4 years. Community Bridges program manager Shannon Powell, who's been with her agency for 3 years, and Bayless Behavioral Health Services clinical director and program manager Hannah Carr, who's been employed with her agency for 8 years. All 3 program managers expressed their passion for helping teens who engage in substance use as a result of wanting to create change to family systems, as well as their own personal experiences in their upbringing. So key findings and results. Here are some of the questions that were asked to the specific agencies. What are concerns you feel contribute to substance use in teens? Adverse childhood experiences such as trauma, abuse, neglect, generational substance use, mental health concerns, developmental level and lack of understanding on long-term consequences, environment, peer pressure, mental health, and the physical addiction itself. Does insurance affect treatment? All 3 program managers reported that funding absolutely affects treatment. People who are on access or state insurance have more accessibility to treatment programs than people who are on private insurance. As private insurance clients, their insurance typically does not fund intensive treatment programs, and not all agencies accept private insurance. Do you think teens are most vulnerable to substance use? Teens' prefrontal cortex is still developing, and they have a higher rate for testing limits and boundaries. They have more peer pressure. If they lack an attachment to their caregiver, they can be more vulnerable. And they also have higher impulsivity rate. Why do you think teens turn to substance use? Confidence, self-awareness, wanting to be socially accepted, adverse childhood experiences such as trauma, wanting to numb themselves out, and other mental health issues. Do you feel that substance use in teens is generational? All 3 program managers reported that there is a higher chance of substance use in teens if there's a family history of substance use. Also, if a parent uses substances while pregnant, it affects the fetus, leaving the child substance exposed, passing down these addictive properties to the child. Is substance use addressed first when teens enter treatment, or are there other therapeutic interventions implemented? So all 3 agencies agreed that substance use needs to be addressed initially, but it's not such a black and white concept. The 2 go hand in hand. As substance use is being treated and the client is becoming stable, they are learning healthy coping skills and interventions to use instead of turning to substance use. How effective do you feel your program is? Different programs are tailored to different clients to meet the needs. So MST focuses on a family system and creates structure and boundaries, as well as working with other systems involved, such as the legal and education system. Bayless uses assessments where a client is reassessed every 6 months to determine effectiveness of treatment. And Community Bridges has a plethora of supports in place that they use to help with monitoring the client and keeping them accountable. Do you think access to treatment programs are equally available to the teen population? The common theme with all agencies is that lower socioeconomic status have challenges with assessing treatment. There can be a lack of funding, transportation, and resources and education, which also pose barriers. Do you feel family dynamics plays a role in substance use? It was reported that family dynamics plays a major role. Having a lack of involvement from the family or to see struggles in change in behavior in the teen, lack of skill set to handle stressors, and a teen's relatability to their family or caregiver all play a role. What are challenges experienced by this population? Developmental stages of autonomy and the teen wanting to be independent but needing to rely on an adult for their needs to be met, unstable environments and cognitive and developmental deficits, transportation barriers, peer pressure, and genetics if the teen has already been exposed in utero. What are strengths of this group? All three agencies believe that resiliency is the major strength demonstrated among the teen population. So your agency provides services for substance use and mental health disorders. Are there any additional services for this population? Case management services, mentorship and integrated care for best practice, and inpatient hospitals for that specialize in substance use for teens below 18 years old. Recommendations. So my recommendations after completing my needs assessment is for implementing programs that are contracted with private insurance in conjunction with access for comprehensive substance treatment, creating inpatient treatment programs that specialize in teen substance use under the age of 18 to help with detox and stability, implementing mandatory parent caregiver sessions for sustainable change, providing options for grants so teens and families can obtain services, and providing transportation to ensure that no appointments are missed. Dissemination. The findings from the needs assessment will be delivered via email in the form of a presentation to the interviewed program managers at Touchstone, Community Bridges, and Bayless Behavior Health. The key factors for success of the needs assessment was I was very lucky that I had connections in the mental health field and that my interviewees were really open, honest, and well-versed within their agencies. Barriers were scheduling with the interviewees because of their busy schedules, and the COVID-19 pandemic made it that all interviews needed to be completed virtually. The experience was informative and helpful to understanding how to complete a needs assessment. It allows me to determine recommendations to bridge the gap in services for this population and shapes future assessment plans because I now have the skill set and knowledge for collecting data. I've also learned that there are barriers to care when it comes to servicing substance use in teens. Not all teens have the same needs, so programs need to be designed to work with the person at an individual level, and they need to be able to adapt, as well as the family system plays a major impact on substance use. Thank you so much for listening to my presentation.